Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, Autothoughts and Decepticlowns. You're listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear history of the Transformers franchise on television. I'm one of your hosts, Audrey.
I'm your other host, Nero.
Good episodes this week.
Some spooky stuff going on this week on both of these episodes. It's a little Halloween in June. You've heard of Christmas in July, but now it's time for Halloween in June.
Yeah, it's like halfway to Halloween. A little late for it, but you know. When
was Summerween in Gravity Falls? Was that in June? Did we ever get a date on that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I watched the Summerween episode, but yeah. I will say that these episodes were particularly well written from a dialogue standpoint. There is in a show of very snappy dialogue. There are particularly snappy lines in this one.
Oh yeah. There's some really good scenes between Starscream and Knockout, especially in the second one here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this starts the arc of the show I like to call the worst month of Starscream's life. We're kind of kicking it off with the second episode we're covering here, and it will not improve for a very long time.
It's kind of downhill from here for him.
I mean, next episode is called the next week's episode. The first one is Rock Bottom, so you know things.
Yeah, I mean, he ends up better off than some other characters, but I would say that things don't ever actually get significantly better for him at this point.
He never gets back to where he was at the start of the show.
Yeah. He is peaked.
He peaked very early. He peaked in episode 1. Ooh boy. Why don't we see?
Arguably he peaked when he ripped the Dark Energon out of Megatron's chest.
That's he peaked at like episode 6.
Yeah, I would argue that was actually a very good strategic move for him.
Oh, for sure.
And he almost got away with that shit if it wasn't for those meddling kids.
And their stupid bird. So yeah, why don't we get started on tracking Starscream's sharp decline here with the first episode, continuing on right where we left off, Out of His Head. So
yeah, this episode opens up with Ratchet performing diagnostic test on Optimus to make sure that the Cybonic plague is totally out of him. And it's great. He's good. Shows no signs of the Cybonic plague still being there. And, Ratchet's like, "You're all clear, Optimus." And Optimus says, "It was all thanks to you, my love, and the assistance of our son."
Yes, our completely normal and lovely son. And then we zoom in on Bumblebee, and we see Megatron in his head going, "Yes! Ha ha ha! Yes!"
Oh man, putting his hands up against the blue glass of Bumblebee's optics.
Yeah. So he's like, "All right, I gotta pilot this fucking scout over to my body somehow. I gotta get back on the Nemesis to fix this shit." But he's not quite in full control of Bumblebee yet. But he's like, "To do that, I'm gonna have to get into the driver's seat here." Yeah,
the language is so funny. And literally, I was just like, wow, just like Yu-Gi-Oh! It reminds me so much of, not to only have two interests, but it reminds me so much of the introduction in the manga of Yu-Gi-Oh! Of Ryo to Bakura, where Bakura's like, now, host, don't be like that. Believe me when I tell you it feels good in here, in you. It's like, first of all, why did you translate it that way? Second of all, this is the official translation. This is not Scanlation. This is
Holy
the official.
Shit.
This is the official. Yeah. And in response to that, Ryo does say, get out of my body. Not my mind, my body. Anyway, but yeah, it is very, it's just like, yeah, just watch me swoosh right in here.
Yeah. And so we get our title, and we cut back, and it's b-ball time with the boys. Bulk and B are playing some basketball, while the kids watch, and everything seems to be going fine until it's time for Bumblebee to dunk the ball, and he just sort of stands there and stares at it, and everyone's like, "You good, buddy? You gotta throw it in the net. That's how the game works." And instead, he whips around and chucks it right at Bulkhead's face.
He's having a normal one. And like Megatron's like, shit, I definitely have a limited amount of time here.
Yeah, and he's like,
figure it out.
He is also like, all right, I gotta act normal. I gotta make sure they don't notice anything wrong with their funny little yellow guy.
Megatron has made the full mistake of being in the one Transformer series where people have brains.
Yeah, like this would be easy in Armada, where everyone was fully trusting of Sideways after one day.
Fucking G1, the episode of G1 where, like, remember the episode of G1 where Starscream just, like, becomes besties with Red Alert? And no one is noticing that Red Alert is off his rocker any more than usual?
Or the one where the Decepticons make a remote control clone of Optimus and everyone's like, well, gee, how do we tell which one's the real one? We better have a race about it.
Wasn't it Soundwave in a suit, too? It was Starscream. It was Starscream in an Optimus suit.
No, that was a different episode. That was the episode where they created a fake false flag viral video to show that the Autobots were evil.
God, I can't wait
to get them shot into the sun.
God, I can't wait for us to get to G1.
G1 Season 2 is the best television ever made.
Oh my god. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so Megatron has made the full mistake of being in the one series where the characters actually have intelligence and notice when things are wrong. Oops.
Yeah. Raph is immediately like, something's wrong with my boy. So meanwhile, back on the Nemesis, what's going on? Well, Starscream is in the infirmary, and he's being normal about everything.
I mean, yeah, it's just, again, we get into increasingly weird stuff between Starscream and Megatron in these episodes.
He's like monologuing and doing crazy poses. It's like, I'm gonna fucking be the best leader ever, and you're gonna rot away in some fucking hole. And Knockout just sort of walks in and stands there silently for a while until Starscream notices him.
No, I will say, obviously everything that Starscream is saying here is completely self-serving, and there's no question it's coming from a completely self-serving place. He doesn't actually give a shit about the Decepticons, outside of them following him. However, this will be the first time of several over the course of these episodes, where Starscream embodies the tragic worst person you know makes a good point. Where, again, he's talking about how he'll show everyone that he's the true Decepticon heir and inherit the leadership role, and he makes a point where it's like, the Decepticons need a leader who is like functional. And it's like, yeah, well, he's not wrong.
Yeah. And that's when Knockout's like, and, because Starscream was like, I will be Emperor of Destruction, yada yada. And Knockout's like, and you'll need a handsome, roguish, intelligent second in command. And it's very funny because I think he walks live as like, that's Commander Knockout to you, Lord Starscream.
Yeah, I can't remember if he calls him Doctor or Lieutenant.
It's Doctor.
Yeah, he calls him Doctor, and yeah.
The look on Starscream's face is really funny. He's like, ooh.
Knockout. Well, specifically, when Knockout doesn't just say Lord Starscream, he says the once and future Lord Starscream.
Yes. Obviously, they will continue to have a very nice working relationship, and they'll be arm in arm, walking down the same path the rest of the show. Knockout is certainly not someone who just gravitates towards the biggest guy.
Yeah.
So
listen, they fuck on the side. It's fine.
That's always true.
What's a handy between friends?
Exactly. So we cut to Raph being sad outside his house because Bumblebee never came by to pick him up for school. And I have to ask at this point, what... Okay, so we know the story Jack told his mom about RC. What the fuck did the other two tell their parents?
Miko didn't say anything.
But
Miko's host family is afraid of her.
That's true. So she
this
didn't
is
need
established.
to do anything.
So she just showed up in a muscle car one day, and they were like, "That's probably Yakuza. We're not going to do anything about that."
Not a muscle car, like a huge fuck off like SUV. It's like, well, you know what?
Sorry, not a muscle car. Yeah, like a fucking armored Jeep.
And I guess Raph talks later in this episode about how like his family is so big, no one ever really pays attention to him. So they probably just don't care.
Listen, school buses are yellow. You look out the window, glance out the window, it looks the same.
Yellow vehicle out there, that's probably fine.
Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah, he calls Jack, and he's like, yeah, Bumblebee never picked me up for school. And we cut to Bumblebee being very normal at the base, and like grabbing one of Ratchet's fucking doohickeys and just crushing it in his hand. And
of course, in response,
say
Ratchet.
the line, Ratchet.
Yeah, say the line, Ratchet. Bumblebee, I needed that. And then he's like, hey, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, what I love about this is that you think, oh, Bumblebee, like, I'm still not entirely clear if this is Bumblebee fighting against things or if this is actually Megatron playing fucking 4D chess, right? Because he confides in Ratchet, hey, I've been seeing visions of Megatron's face and past.
Well, I think that is genuinely Bumblebee, but the issue is that Megatron is trying to exert his control over Bumblebee's body. And I think there are moments when Bumblebee doesn't realize that he's being controlled.
Yeah.
But he still has Megatron in his head.
But specifically, the thing that happens here, because of him telling Ratchet about this, perfectly lines up with what Megatron wants, right? Like, because as a result, we'll see later, Ratchet puts him in like a forced shutdown state, which allows Megatron to just swoosh right in there as soon as Ratchet's out of the room. So, like, was that actually Megatron, or was it Bumblebee being suggested by Megatron, or who knows? No one knows what's going on.
I think it was Bumblebee.
Regardless, he tells Ratchet, like, hey, I'm seeing Megatron in my head, and he's, like, talking to me and shit. So, yeah, as I mentioned, Ratchet's like, all right, well, physically, he was unharmed by the, from the cortical psychic patch, but obviously, it's a two-way street. Some Megatron probably rubbed out on him, so I'm just gonna like put him in shutdown and let him like. He basically like kind of soft resets him. Like, all right, let's update his fucking software real quick.
Yeah.
To purge any latent Megatronness, which is when Fowler calls and asks, "Hey, Prime, you seen any Decepticons in hula skirts?" And Prime, in the most tired, done voice I've ever heard, goes, "No, Agent Fowler. Why?
Why are you asking?"
Why do you ask? So I love this. This is a plan straight out of G1.
It is a plan out of G1. I will say that Optimus's reaction, I love that it's a combination of just like tired and resigned, but also genuinely curious. Like, yes. Where are you going with this?
Yeah. But yeah, so like Fowler's like, yeah, so the Decepticons stole the lens of an extremely powerful telescope in Hawaii, and we don't know where it went, and they're probably going to do something very bad with it.
And Optimus is like, listen, Starscream's methods are completely inscrutable to me. I have no idea what that guy's planning at any given moment.
There's literally, it's not a laser, I don't think, but there is literally an episode where they're trying to drill through the Arctic ice to get Energon in G1. I think it's the Skyfire episode.
Yeah, it's Fire in the Sky.
So yeah,
that's how they find him. He's buried under the Arctic ice.
Next time, Starscream is going to break out a giant purple griffin as part of the sort of G1 playbook here.
Yeah. So he's like, I have no idea what Starscream is. Like, what do you want me to do with this Agent Fowler? He's like, without knowing where that lens is. And it's just the lens that they stole from the observatory. And he's like, without knowing where the lens is, I have no idea what he's planning for. And Fowler's like, newsflash, asshole, we know where the lens has been this entire time.
Yep. Arctic temperatures are getting toasty. There's a gigantic deposit of Energon underneath a glacier, and Starscream is melting right through the ice. Also, one thing we forgot to mention, very critical detail early on in the episode, Megatron remembers Starscream plucking the Dark Energon out of his chest.
Oh yeah.
So he knows that happened now.
Well,
He did
right.
not
So
remember
he's
that
like,
before.
yeah. So as Bumblebee goes into the shutdown, Megatron's like, okay, I have to get back to my body, but what condition is my body in? Okay, I know it's bad. How did it end up that way? What happened after the explosion in this, at the space bridge?
How the fuck did I live?
Yeah, he's like, how did I survive that? And he has this flash and of all these flashes, and then we get to see from his perspective, which is like a fun, sexy bonus, that weird homoerotic scene where Starscream plucks the Dark Energon from his chest, and at first he's like, right, that's right, I survived because of Dark Energon, and then a second later he's like, Starscream!
He's like, wait a minute. Hold on! So yes, so RC, Bulkhead, and Optimus head out to the Arctic, while Ratchet and Raph stay behind to look after Bumblebee. During this, Raph is like talking to Bumblebee while he's in his like coma-esque state, sort of. And Ratchet's like, you know, he can't hear you, right? I should just like, here, let me just like ground bridge you home. Like, there ain't nothing going on here. And Raph's like, no, I want to stay. He's family. And Ratchet's like, well, that's stupid. He's a giant robot and you're a tiny little fleshling. How can that be possible? And Raph's like, let me tell you about found family, Ratchet. Let me teach you.
And also he's like, I mean, first of all, found family, and also, how's any of this shit I do with Bumblebee possible? I understand him.
Yep.
So, fuck off.
And it's funny, yeah, because it's funny, because like he starts explaining, like, yeah, I'm part of I'm the youngest sibling in a huge family. I am never heard over anyone else. I'm always like the one who's ignored. And it's funny because Ratchet is at first very like, yeah, whatever, as he's explaining this, but eventually he's like, well, that's because Raph is eventually like, well, you know, I have a connection with Bumblebee that I can't explain, but I just want to stay by his side. And Ratchet just goes, it's really stupid. I'm gonna go over here.
Also, I love Ratchet's insistence on calling him by his full first name.
Yes.
Raphael. He's the only one who calls Raphael.
Fucking aloof Uncle Ratchet. Raphael. I think Optimus sometimes calls him Raphael, but only when he's in dad mode, I think, because I'm pretty sure he called him Raphael and he was like asking where Miko, was it Jack or Miko? Someone was missing.
It was Miko.
Yes, because he's a Raphael. Have you seen Miko? But yeah, like, so we cut to the Arctic very briefly as Optimus is like, you guys remember the end run on Polyhex? As they're looking at this fucking heat beam blasting through the ice. And also it is established, it is very toasty right now where they are, which is why Raph is fine later.
70% of global warming is caused by 100 Decepticons, and they all have names and addresses.
Yeah, they all have one address. It's the Nemesis.
And they all have one, and most of them have one name. It's Viacon.
So, like, they're gonna run their plan. We also at some point see Starscream, gloating his usual thing of like, I am a genius. I am smarter than Megatron ever was. That fucking musty old bitch can die. I'm the new leader.
Again, like, at least like this one's sort of deserved. Like, this is a good plan from his perspective. Like, from the Decepticon perspective, this is a good plan. Fuck D.E.A.R.E.
It is an alright plan. I also love how little this subplot matters for the episode. It's fucking hilarious. I love this stupid fucking 80s plot just shoved in here.
Yeah. I mean, fuck D.E.A.R.E, but like, there's a good way to get like a lot of Energon really quick, and he's doing it. So like,
exactly. He's like, it's a good plan. Like, he has always been about
There's no reason for him to think that this should fail.
He has always been about getting that Energon, even from the very first episode. Where he's like, hey, Megatron, I've been mining the shit out of this planet for the past 5 years. And
in many ways, that has been more important to the ongoing survival of the Decepticons than actually engaging in Autobot forces.
Because instead, Megatron was like, actually, all that's bullshit. I got devil juice. And I'm going to make a zombie army. And Starscream was just like, okay. Well, cool. Fuck me, I guess.
Fuck me and fuck the last 3 years. Thanks. Horsey eBook's voice. It was absolutely useless. Thanks.
So, Back at the auto base, Ratchet goes to fix the thing Bumblebee smashed earlier, at which point Bumblebee walks off of the recharging port and starts opening up the ground bridge.
Yeah, and Ratchet, like, approaches him because, Bumblebee, what are you doing? And Bumblebee turns around and slugs him right in the face and sends him flying back. Call an ambulance, but for the ambulance.
Yeah, and Raph tries to run up to like tell him to stop. Bumblebee picks him up, but instead of if Megatron was in full control, he simply would have popped him like one of those like water, like he would have popped him like a water balloon. Instead, he is safely
like a squeeze
perched.
toy, yeah.
Yeah, he is safely perched on a vent. He can't get down from the vent, but he's not hurt. As Bumblebee bridges out to the site of his like zombie army battle with Ratchet and Optimus, because Starscream believes he is in possession of the last shard of Dark Energon on the planet. This is not true. Because
Megatron goes to his mind palace again, and he's like,
sits
"Where
there,
did I?"
He has flashes of John Philip Sousa and a dog, and he remembers. Ah, yes.
He swipes the words to the left with his finger. Yeah, and he goes to his mind palace and he flickers through all his memories again, and he's like, "Ah, shit, that's right. That's where the Dark Energon is, in the ground, where I put it."
Actually, he does this before knocking Ratchet's lights out, because he bridges out. Ratchet runs in, like, "What the fuck? Where's Bumblebee going?" And then Bumblebee walks back in with the Dark Energon, fucking bodies Ratchet, and puts Raph in timeout before bridging out to the Nemesis. And so, yeah, Ratchet realizes, like, oh shit, he just bridged two coordinates that were almost where Optimus went, which means he is like on the ship probably. And so Ratchet's like, "All right, I'm gonna head out." And Raph's like, "Wait, no, you gotta take me with you." And at first Ratchet's like, "Well, no," but
funny you should say that because I don't.
Yeah, but like Raph immediately goes, "No, Bumblebee needs me," and I love Ratchet like standing there, and he just sighs and he goes, "Of course he does," and holds out his hand.
Good dad alert.
I like it when grumpy Ratchets have their hearts melted by young ones. It's happened twice in the shows. We'll get to animated later, but it's always very lovely. Anyway, Starscream quotes the A-Team. He loves it when a plan comes together.
Yes. I was gonna say friends at the table, but same mood.
So, and right as he says that, of course, the Autobots put their plan in motion. Which the plan just seems to be have RC and Bulkhead run interference while Optimus sneaks around the side. Which is a good plan, to be fair.
Yeah, again, everyone's coming up with pretty solid plans this episode, all things considered.
Yeah, sometimes the simplest plans are the best. Break out that Art of War shit, All the stuff in the book is like, if you have more people than the enemy does, then you will win. It's like, fuck, that's so true.
God, so true, bestie.
So, Breakdown literally leaps into action here, right as Ratchet and Raph bridge onto the Nemesis and see a pile of dead Viacons leading to the infirmary. Just a trail of corpses, and Ratchet's like, "Well, we know where he went."
Yeah.
So they find Bumblebee, I guess Megatron at this point. They find Megatron hooking the patch into Bee's head, getting ready to reanimate his body. Ratchet tries to stop him, and once again immediately gets rocked. The man is not a fighter.
First do no harm, baby.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. We've seen what Ratchet can do when he gets down to it. And these are the early days of Ratchet as well.
Yeah, I mean, those are all, like, zombie guys, but this is, like, the most dangerous gladiator of all time in, like, the best Autobot scout's body. It is unfortunately a bad matchup for my man.
Yes.
So then, that didn't work. So Raph tries to, pull Bumblebee out, right? He goes up and says, "Remember who you are. Remember me. I know you're still in there. You didn't pop me like a bug back at the base. I know you're still in there." And he starts to fight. Bumblebee starts to try and get control back. But one thing you have to know about Megatron is that I don't know if there's anyone who has a stronger will than he does. That man knows what he wants.
He would do so good in a Saw movie.
Yes, he would. He would body all his fucking Saw traps and just walk in and kick Jigsaw out a window. He's ready for it. He'll take whatever.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, they, Ratchet. So he gets to talk, which is horseshit, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know how he talks here, because I'm pretty sure the whole thing is that Bumblebee's literal vocal cords are fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. That's the entire point. But anyway, Raph is
maybe he's playing it through Bumblebee's car speakers.
Oh my god. Raph is, trying to get Bumblebee back, and Megatron almost literally does the old Bumblebee can't come to the phone right now. Yeah. Why? Because he's dead. Almost verbatim.
Yeah. Ratchet pulls the plug on Megatron to try and stop him, but unfortunately he just jams that shit right into his chest, reviving his body and sending his mind through the psychic patch.
Yeah. And as he does this, Raph is before he jams in,
Raph does make an honest attempt to pull the patch out of his head.
Raph is like, let me pull, as much as I don't want you, as much as I
don't want to hurt Bumblebee.
I don't want to hurt Bumblebee. I can't let you back into your body. And Megatron's like, all right, what are you going to do about it? Yeah. And then, puts himself in. And Raph's like, I don't know. And, jumps on the cord.
Good effort. But unfortunately, he is a tiny boy.
He's just a little guy, and it's his birthday.
Yeah, he gets thrown back, and Megatron gets up. So, and it's really, because, at this point, all of the Viacons run in, having realized that some shit's going down.
Yeah.
And they see Megatron hale and hearty, back to normal. And Megatron does the classic thing of telling his goons to finish them off. It's
so funny. We are immediately back. The reason why he does this, he's like, I have my own business to take care of. Because immediately now that he is back, we are back to the Megatron and Starscream dynamic of, you should be addicted to shutting the fuck up. / you want to fuck me so bad it makes you look stupid.
Yep, because he's like, I have my own extermination to take care of, as he walks slowly to the top deck.
He has 2 of the remaining 5 Autobots in his sight, and he can easily crush them, and he doesn't give a shit because he is so focused on Starscream.
Yeah, he could just he would be able to chop these 2 up like nothing.
Nothing.
They are not Optimus. They are not fighters on his level. It would be easy, but he's like, nope, very important thing I have to deal with.
And he doesn't do it because he wants to fuck Starscream so bad it makes him look stupid. Listen, the only argument for Starscream's continued survival in any continuity that makes any sense is that Megatron wants to fuck him so bad it makes him look stupid.
Especially this one.
Especially this G1 IDW. Yeah. Are you kidding?
Fair, he did quickly get rid of Starscream and animated. There were just complications.
That's true. Yeah, it's not his fault that Starscream is a statistical outlier who cannot be killed.
God,
average named character dies three times a year. Factually incorrect. Immortal Starscream.
Died 55 times and should not be counted.
Who has an outlier ability that makes him unkillable and has died 10,000 times this year alone, is a statistical outlier and should not be counted.
Truly the best montage in Transformers history. It's so fucking funny. Anyway, so we cut back up to the Nemesis deck where Optimus, this is baller. He fucking
This is the most hardcore shit I've ever seen.
Well, actually, before
saw
Optimus,
traps.
before Optimus runs through the fucking microwave hallway, Bulkhead and Breakdown punch each other so hard they split a glacier. So that happens, and then Optimus charges the laser. Starscream turns it on him, and he's being blasted with a heat ray so intense it was like melting Arctic ice and warming up the surrounding area to as according to RC, summer conditions. That's a hot laser, and Optimus just drives through it, does a flying punch on the laser, and smashes it up.
I mean, when he does the flying punch, he is steaming.
Yes, he is definitely in some pain here because he is also thrown to the ground by the explosion, and it looks like he's pretty stunned. And as a result, Starscream goes in for the kill. He's getting ready to hit him with the coup de grace, ready to fire those 2 missiles he's always got on him at him.
Well, Starscream takes off, and at first it's like, oh, well, he's gonna retreat at this point. But no, I'll give it to him. Yeah. He's he turns right around, and he says a pretty baller line that does come back to kick him in the ass a bit later on.
Yeah.
But he says a baller line, which as he goes down, it's Megatron's biggest mistake was never getting rid of you. And he is about, and as you see the missile sort of detach and ready to fire, and a half second before they're able to do that, he gets bodied by Megatron.
Literally tackled by Megatron's jet form and slammed onto the deck of the Nemesis.
In air tackled. Megatron drags him. You know how orcas were wearing salmons as hats?
Yes.
For a while? That's kind of what's happening here.
Yeah, and Megatron just chucks him onto the deck of the Nemesis, and Starscream, of course, Lord Megatron, you're I'm so happy you're back. You look great. And Megatron's like, yeah, shut the fuck up. You know why I'm here. What was that about my biggest mistake? Because I love this. My greatest regret. My greatest mistake. Yeah. I've made a few, but I'm about to correct one right now. And Starscream attempts to run away by transforming into jet mode, and Megatron just grabs him by the rear fin and just
by the tail fins.
Just chucks him back onto the ship.
Yeah.
And literally drags him off by the leg.
No, well, eventually by the head.
Oh, that's right. It's the head.
Yeah, no. He grabs him. Yeah, he grabs him right by the face, and Starscream is dragging his heels, trying to traction.
And we cut down to the Autobots who all make that one Shrek face at each other.
God, it must be so weird for them to watch this.
I was should we be here for this? Should we leave? They do try to leave. It's really funny because Optimus calls Ratchet all right, hey Ratchet, we need to bridge out. And then Ratchet walks up yeah, I could use one too, goddamn.
Megatron and Starscream, the walking argument against kink at Pride.
God damn it.
Side note, I am very much for kink at Pride.
Oh, yeah,
please do not take that joke as an indicator of my actual feelings or political views.
It's just that these two have some things to work out.
It's just that, if there was an argument against it, I'm looking at it.
So we go back to the auto base, and Bumblebee gets scanned, and he's Megatron free. And honestly, I'd be way more fucked up about being possessed by fucking Megatron than Bumblebee is. He's taking it very well.
There's a lot of stuff that's taken very well in these episodes. I have a note about the next episode.
Oh,
about how well everyone accepts some of the things that happen in the next episode.
So
without
everyone's
apparent
back.
concern.
And Raph has a lovely little moment. It's so cute because he there's an extended period where Raph and Bumblebee talk, and usually when Bumblebee is talking, the dialogue will be they'll basically repeat what Bumblebee said for clarity. But when Raph and Bumblebee are talking here at the end, they're just having a normal conversation where Raph isn't responding like that. Where he's like, "Yeah, I know. It was great. It was really cool." And then Bumblebee beep bop oops, and he responds normally. And Miko's like, so what'd he say? And he's like, well, he said thank you. It's like, aw, they're sharing a moment. Yeah, so, next episode.
Yeah, the next episode is episode 15, Shadow Zone.
Get in the zone, Shadow Zone. So we open.
Oh god, yeah. So we open on an incredible scene.
Starscream is fucked up. He is on the infirmary table, just completely covered in. He looks like he got fucking strapped to a belt sander for 24 hours.
So the point of this particular opening shot is that he is in the exact same position, and they talk about this at length, that Megatron has been in for the last same episode, on the same bed with the same tubes going into him and the same sort of level of helplessness, except not really, actually.
Yeah, he is awake for it, which Megatron was not. So
He's
really,
awake
Megatron had a better deal.
And like impressively confident and snarky for
I
having
would
been
not...
put through the ringer the way he has. So, you know, Megatron comes in to check on him. He's like, "How are we feeling today, beloved?" And Starscream just sort of like glares at him. And Megatron's like, "Did we learn an important lesson today?" And Starscream's
I wrote this down because
go for it.
Starscream's like, you like, because they're talking about like,
yes.
It's so funny
I hope you recover quickly.
Yes, it's because he's like, it's really funny that you're on that table, huh? It's a pretty funny joke, and Starscream's like, well, I don't think it's very funny.
There's
Megatron says, "But know this, dear Starscream, our positions will never again be reversed."
Well, and before he says that, though, there is this exchange as well that's like impressively snarky from Starscream, where it's where Megatron's like, "See, you're recovering quickly," and Starscream looks at him and goes, "Yes, let's hope I recover as quickly as your wrath was swift." And he's like grunting through it, but he's like staring like Megatron in the eye. I'm like, this is like more backbone than any Starscream has ever had.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that line was just like, God, good bro. Our positions will never again be reversed.
Yeah, and then he leaves, and Starscream's like, "Our positions will never again be reversed." And he like yanks the tubes out of him, like yanks the like life support out of him, and like hobbles off. And he like exits the infirmary and Knockout like looks at him and goes, "Hey Starscream, holy shit! Hey Starscream, what the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, I did not discharge you, Starscream. You should get back in there. And he's like, "Nope, right as rain. I've never felt better." As he is like dragging one of his feet through the fucking hallways, like clutching his arm to his chest. He's like, "I am in perfect health. You're a wonderful doctor. Now please leave me alone." And like shoves him away. He's going because like Megatron never found the stash of Dark Energon Starscream had, and he's tucked it away in the corner of the Nemesis for safekeeping, and he's got a little plan.
And it's like, oh, Starscream, if all your friends jumped off a cliff, would you do it? Hi, I'm Audrey, and I'm a representative of D.E.A.R.E, Dark Energon Abuse Resistance Education. You too can stop your community members from being affected by the Dark Energon doping phenomenon. But it starts at home. You have to make the choice.
Wow. That is very accurate. I am impressed.
Thanks.
So the Autobot, we cut to the auto base. Everyone is pings the Dark Energon signal.
Oh,
and like,
yeah. Wait, just to be clear, Starscream's plan is to dope himself up with Dark Energon now.
He's gonna try to repair himself with the Dark Energon, and he's also got like another thing planned too, because like, well, that's not gonna be enough.
But and as he does it, he's like, "Yeah, well, I think you're wrong, Megatron. I think our positions are gonna be reversed again real soon." You just watch.
You keep thinking that, Starscream. You just keep thinking that. So yeah, at the auto base, all of the Autobots are like, "Oh shit, fast moving Dark Energon signal must be Megatron." And they're all like, "All right, we're all gonna head out, except Ratchet. You're coming with us because you're the doctor, and we need your expertise on Dark Energon. RC is gonna be on ground bridge duty." Yeah. Which I think is why the kids slip through, because Ratchet is used to watching for those little brats, and RC is not.
Yep.
So yeah, spoilers. It's so funny because like Miko is like drawing something. Seems very content with staying behind, and
Yeah.
Jack and Raph are both like, she's fucking up to something.
They're like, yeah, that ain't right.
And of course, as soon as the Autobots are halfway through the ground bridge, she starts sprinting for it.
Well, first of all, before before she starts sprinting for it, we get to see what Starscream's plan is.
Yes,
so
that's
they've
right.
identified that there is fast moving energon. We get to see Dark Energon. We get to see what that is, and it is Starscream going back to Skyquake's death site, and he splits the Dark Energon in two, and is planning to raise Skyquake as the first of his zombie army. And then he injects himself with the Dark Energon, and he goes, "Synchronicity! I feel it! And it's
I feel the cosmos.
Yeah, I feel the cosmos, exactly. Na 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 na. And I feel like he hasn't heard the quote about like the definition of insanity.
No, he
doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Yeah, he's like, all right. Well, the last time I tried to go and get this guy, it went very poorly for me. But this time, this time it's different. But yeah, so yeah, they Miko of course runs through the ground bridge. She drops her phone back at base. This is important for later.
Well, yeah, she runs through and Jack is like, "Miko, you can't go, it's dangerous." And she looks at him. I love this line. She's like, "I'm not going to miss the fight of the living dead."
Yes, she wants to see that fucking zombie so bad. Because like they deduce that like Megatron, well, who they think is Megatron, is trying to raise Skyquake. And so she knows, oh shit, I gotta go see the fucking robot zombies. But yeah, she drops her phone. RC is just not paying. She's just like, I don't know what the fuck she's doing. She's just looking at the wall. She's just thinking about something else.
She's doing what my cat does when he gets too overwhelmed.
So the Autobots bridge in. And it's so funny because immediately Bulkhead's like, "Hey, wait, that's not Megatron. The fuck is he doing here?"
The fuck? That's a twink.
Yeah. And it's great because immediately, of course, Starscream's like, "Ha, you fools! I have been empowered with Dark Energon. Your puny weapons cannot harm me." And Optimus goes, "Bet," and immediately, like literally instantly shoots his arm off.
Yes, so I want to talk about this. So there's a very funny story that I have about this, which is back in like 2010, 2011, when Prime was airing. That's when I started actually collecting my Transformers toys. Mm-hmm. And so I went to Target, and I found Starscream there, and I got Starscream, and I have him probably displayed still. And at some point, because his joints are very funny, his arm fell off.
Yep.
One of his arm fall off. And I thought about putting it back on. It would have been really easy. It was just like a joint that I could click back into place. But I decided not to. Because of this episode.
If you want a show-accurate Starscream toy, just sort of run it over some sandpaper and tear his arm off. And there you go.
Yeah.
Toy episode Shadow Zone accurate Starscream.
And then get rid of its transformation cock.
Oh boy, yeah. That the next part of Starscream's No Good Very Bad Month is coming up soon.
Well, that is genuinely, I mean, we're not there yet, but genuinely her within the realm of like what a Cybertronian is, like horrific torture.
Yeah, it's no good. But so Starscream hides behind a rock and immediately calls for an evac. It's like, emergency ground bridge right now. Right as Ratchet turns around and goes, "Oh fuck." Because Miko is yelling at Jack about you fucking made me drop my phone, you asshole. I wanted to get a picture of the zombie. And Jack's like, "Oh, you gotta." They're yelling at each other again, like, "You gotta stop sneaking onto these missions. It's too dangerous." Which is when RC calls out and is like, "Hey, kids are gone." He's like, Yeah, I know. I see them."
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we have visual.
It's like, yeah, I got it.
Anyway, please space bridge them away immediately.
Yeah. So their ground bridge opens right as Starscream's ground bridge opens. And everyone's like, well, shit, this is weird. And they cross the streams. Yeah, so Starscream leaps in, like, early. It's like, I'm out of here. Shit sucked hit to bricks. His driving philosophy in life.
Right. As always, just walk out.
And Ratchet's like, hurry up, go through our ground bridge right now, immediately. And they go through, and then the streams start crossing, and shit gets weird, and there's a big cross ground bridge explosion, which tosses everyone away. And the kids...
he like bounces off. It almost creates like a force field that he bounces off of first, and then it explodes.
And everyone gets up, and the kids are like, oh wow, that was weird. And then, but Optimus gets up, is like, well, I hope the children made it through the ground bridge. And they're like, wait, hang on, hold up, we're right here. And Optimus calls the base, like, hey, RC, did they make it through? It's like, no. And then we realize, oh shit, all of the landscape is like drained of color, and we can't touch any of them because Bulkhead almost steps on Miko, or like steps on Miko but passes right through her. And they realize they are ghosts, or at least that's what Miko thinks is going on.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oops.
She's also...
There's also a line from Raph here, as he tries to like find his glasses.
Well, that's a little later.
Is it?
Because what happens first is all of the Autobots look down and go, huh, that's weird. Skyquake's tomb is empty.
Yeah, they're like, Bulkhead's like, how the fuck did we miss Skyquake coming back to life?
I didn't see him get up. He must have gotten destroyed in the explosion or something, whatever. And so they get bridged back to base, and Skyquake walks out from behind a rock and starts shambling towards them. And Raph's like, no, watch out. He's right behind you. And he goes for Optimus and passes right through him. And Miko's like, oh, yeah, he can't touch him just like we can't. Wait.
But if he's in here and we're out there, then who's the sheriff?
And he turns around and he's got a cowboy hat on. Yeah, Skyquake is in the same fucking dimension they're in. Because Raph deduces, like, no, we're not dead. We're just in a fucking alternate dimension. He says, some kind of shadow zone. And he goes like, that's fucking stupid. Don't ever say that again. But yeah, so...
Yeah, Miko's like, nerd alert, nerd.
Yeah, nerd alert. So they're trapped in limbo with a giant zombie Skyquake. Not...
They're fine.
Great. But yeah, Raph gets Velma'd as they're running from Skyquake.
Yeah! He has this great... He's like, where's my glasses? He gets fully Velma'd, and Miko looks at him and goes, what are you, 90? And it's like, yes, Miko, we've established this. He is the old man from Up.
He is. It's so funny. He is literally crawling around on the ground going, my glasses! I can't see without my glasses! As the monster is approaching. All it was missing was him mistaking Skyquake for, like, Shaggy or something. So Miko runs out to grab his glasses real quick. The plus side is that Terracon Skyquake is very slow and shambly. He is not fast. I mean, it's weird, right? Because we see... I guess it depends on how long they've been dead, because I feel like Cliffjumper was pretty nimble. But all of the guys Megatron raised from the dead were also fairly slow. And Skyquake's been dead for a while. Also, he died in a really fucked up way that probably fucked up his body a lot.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he wasn't slow, but he was built for strength and size and not for
speed.
He's
a tank. So, he's a fucking tank. He had the big chain gun. Yeah, you're right. So he's like, yeah, obviously he'd be a big shambler. So they're back at base, and they're like, well, if we didn't mix up the ground bridges because Starscream didn't come back to our base, and then they must have been shot. Like, their working hypothesis is that, well, obviously they got, like, accidentally transported somewhere else, but they can't find anywhere. There were no, like, leaks or whatever that would have deposited them somewhere weird. And so Bulkhead's like, I guess I'll just call Miko. And so he calls Miko, and her phone rings on the floor right in front of the ground bridge. Oops.
Oops.
So RC's like, okay, well, I'll just call Jack. And I do think it's very cute that they all have their kids' phone numbers and their fucking comm links or
Yeah,
whatever.
I was about to say, my first reaction to this was like, damn, that's so sad that Miko's the only one whose number they know.
RC has Jack's number,
Yeah.
and I bet Raph. No, he
I'm
has a
sure-
phone. He called Jack
Yeah,
in the last episode.
Raph is a hashtag hacker. Of course he has a
That's
phone.
true. But the fucking reception is terrible in the Shadow Zone. RC, it's just a bunch of fucking noise. Obviously, Jack doesn't have Verizon. The coverage in Limbo is very good.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Verizon, who is not a law firm.
No, it is not. Absolutely not. I do not co-sign that.
So it's pretty good. So they're running from Skyquake here. They're like, well, we can't call for help. And also, eventually, Jack and Miko start realizing, wait a minute, we're running in fucking circles.
Well, first of all, actually, before this, we get a scene back on the Nemesis.
Right.
So
because...
Starscream has arrived back on a Nemesis, but his arm has not come with him. His arm got trapped in Limbo.
Yes.
So he immediately, when he gets on the other side of the bridge, he looks at the Viacon, who's manning the bridge. And he goes, "You say nothing to nobody."
This is definitely Steve. This
Yeah,
has to be Steve.
It has to be Steve. All of them are Steve. I assume he says, "You say."
Any Viacon that is involved in a scene like this, that's Steve.
Yeah, any Viacon that has to hold Starscream's information in confidence is Steve.
Any Viacon that has to hold. I thought you were saying any Viacon that has to hold Starscream's L's.
Well, that too, but yeah, he says, "You say nothing to no one," and then he goes to Med Bay, and Knockout's like, "With all due respect, Lord Starscream, what the fuck?" And Starscream's like, "You know what? You did a shit job preparing me for Megatron throttling me. It just fell off. It was super embarrassing. Get better at your job and stop asking me questions. Put my arm back on." And Knockout's like, "Okay, well, this could be a great opportunity for you, actually." We have
upselling him.
Yeah, he's like, we have all these like upgrades you could do. He mentions the Null Ray, which makes me very happy, as always. And Starscream's like, "I don't want an upgrade. I want my old arm." And Knockout's like, "I mean, you're asking me to put like iOS Lion on you."
Yeah, like he basically calls Starscream old. It's like, well, your current equipment is kind of obsolete.
Yeah,
and he's right, because like we see all of the other characters with these like slick built-in weapons, right? Starscream just has his fucking wrist launchers, which he fires using a hand gesture.
He's very manual. It's an interesting thing for him.
Yeah.
For a character as sort of like self-centered and vain as he is.
I think that's sort of the core of this. Like, I don't want fancy new arms. I want my old arm.
Yeah, but he's also, I mean, there's a certain level of flash to him that would suggest that maybe that he wants new stuff. So I did find it interesting, but yeah.
I think he likes the finger twitch. He likes being the guy with the missiles. I think he's like, I'm cool. It's like, you know what it is? That is the Transformer equivalent of being a guy who thinks revolvers are sexy.
You're just calling him Revolver Ocelot? Is that what you're doing? Are you just calling him Revolver Ocelot?
Starscream is Revolver Ocelot. He's using these antiquated old weaponry that he thinks looks very cool.
Yeah. 6 bullets.
2 missiles, more than enough to kill anything that moves.
Yep.
Something well-oiled sliding into a chamber, you know. You know how it goes.
Oh, I know about Starscream and well-oiled things sliding into chambers, yeah. Yeah, so he's just get me my old arm back, and Knockout's like, "Okay, give me the arm. You retrieved it, didn't you?" And Starscream's like, "No, it was beyond repair. Fucking find me a new one of the same style." And Knockout's like, "Okay."
Fine, I'll go fucking look in the back. There's probably an arm like that sitting on some fucking dusty shelf or something. I'll go look. So Miko tries texting Bulkhead at some point, but before that, they literally run into Starscream's arm sitting on the ground. And it's really cool because Skyquake is coming behind them, and they're like, "All right, we have a missile. We have to figure out how to fire it." And I think it's Raph who's like, I'm pretty sure Starscream has like a finger twitch that he does, and so they kind of turn his arm in Skyquake's direction, and Jack like manually pushes his finger down to fire the missile. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Of course, it doesn't do anything. In fact, this only makes the situation worse because what happens is that it blows Skyquake's arm off. It's like, great, good, really cool. Problem. Terrorcon limbs apparently can animate under their own power.
I love the Addams Family.
Yeah, there's Thing chasing him now, and the hand is way faster than Skyquake is.
And they actually make a comment about it, which was really funny. Which is like,
Yeah.
why? Miko's like, why is the hand faster than the whole body?
Yeah. So this is when Miko texts Bulkhead, who finally checks Miko's phone. And I was like, oh hey, she texted me.
Well, it's Jack that texts actually. Because
Right,
Miko's like, can you text and run for your life? Because
Yeah,
we
that's
got
right. So Bulkhead goes to check the text, and see, here's the situation. They're trapped in an alternate reality, being chased by a zombie, and
their response to this is like, yeah, so they read the text, and there's like a moment of silence, and then like, RC's like, well, that seems unlikely.
and I think it's Optimus who's like, hey, Ratchet, can you triangulate their signal? And
Best response!
in an alternate dimensional plane?
Let's find out.
I mean, it gets to work. So Starscream notices his Dark Energon shard is pulsing, which means that Skyquake is still alive. Well, Skyquake is still undead somewhere.
Skyquake is still mobile.
Yeah, so he takes another secret ground bridge out. It's like, bro, you're gonna get your fucking ground bridge privilege taken away if you keep doing this shit. So he teleports out to the canyon where Skyquake is, and you see him wandering around like his like shade in the shadows. I'm going, Skyquake, where are you, Skyquake? And this is when they the bots get a lock on their location, and Ratchet's like, listen, it is very, very important that we get the exact location right to the lowest decimal point we can, because if we fuck up on this fucking limbo extraction, very bad things could happen.
Yeah.
So a ground bridge opens in the Shadow Zone, which also opens right in front of Starscream, who's like, mine?
Oh, there's
or
also
theirs?
like there's a great line as like Ratchet is sort of going through the science, and he says like a bunch of scientific nonsense, and RC goes, yeah, everyone knows that. Like Bulkhead, like there's obviously a moment where like RC and Bulkhead are like sharing a look where they're like clearly don't understand, and RC's like, yeah, everyone knows that.
Yeah, I totally knew that.
Yeah.
It's fucking Tommy that in elementary school, man.
Yeah.
Basic stuff.
Everyone knows that.
So
such good lines in this episode.
It's really funny. So yeah, a ground bridge portal opens right in front of Starscream, and the kids are like, okay, well, if we run through that portal, we're gonna literally run right into Starscream. If we don't, the zombie hand will get us. So what if we solve both our problems at once? And so they wait, and they wait, and they wait, and then they run through, quickly followed by the zombie hand, and they run between Starscream's legs like the humans, what the fuck? And then immediately the fucking zombie hand tackles him to the ground and grabs his head.
And his response to this is also hilarious, because he like wrestles it off. It's like a fucking a face hugger.
I love the Evil Dead too.
Yeah, it's like a face hugger from Alien, and
Yeah.
he like rips it off, and he looks at it, and his response is, "This isn't mine."
Like, no shit.
It's like, wait, this isn't my arm.
It's like, yeah, no, yeah. Congratulations on recognizing Starscream. So Optimus and Co arrive to come pick up, and guess what Starscream says? Emergency ground bridge, please.
Yeah.
Fucking all the
Did we-
all
oh.
Decepticon commanders know how to do is
Did we mention, by the
betray.
way? Did we mention, by
Yes.
the way, what he said to Knockout when he decided to go look for his arm?
Oh, that's right, because Knockout
Yeah.
comes back
Yeah,
with
so-
a, like...
So
fucking-
Knockout, sorry, just very quickly, like, before he actually decides to go looking for his arm, there's another scene up on the Nemesis where Knockout finally comes back with, like, a model, and, I
got,
guess
like 50 rockets on it.
Yeah, it's so good. And Starscream has also realized that,
Skyquake is around.
Skyquake is around and mobile, so he wants to go back to check on him. And so he's like, he immediately gets up and he's like, you know what, Doctor, you're right. I'm far too attached to my original arm. I'm gonna go get it. And leaves and like gets a ground bridge out again.
Yeah, Knockout's like, okay, well, whatever.
Anyway, he emergency ground bridges back again.
Yep.
And this time he goes to Knockout and he's like, no, I was wrong, put it back.
Yep. Fucking hell. Like, so for once, this is a big one, folks. For once, Miku admits that she was wrong, which Jack is also very happy on. He's like, oh, what'd you say? Can you say that again a little louder?
He's like a dozen more times is actually what the exact line.
Yeah. And often it's like, well, normally, yeah, you'd fucked up, but I mean, you were literally trapped in limbo with a ravenous zombie. I think that's punishment enough.
What he says is, what you have endured has been lesson enough, and it's like, it really hasn't, though, Optimus.
No, Miko will continue to behave poorly because she just wanted to. Because she's like, damn, I wish I'd gotten a picture of that zombie. It's like, she has learned nothing and will do crimes again. Excellent.
Absolutely.
So we get another shot. Back to the Nemesis. Starscream's back in the thing again, and Knockout. I wrote this one down too. Knockout walks up and says, "What happened? Megatron pound you like scrap metal again?"
Yeah. Listen, we're not doing this, folks.
We're just
not
quoting
doing
the show. We're just quoting the show. Our positions will never be reversed. And Megatron pounding like scrap metal again. This is just dialogue from the show. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, we see one last funny bit of fucking zombie Skyquake forever damned to wander an eternal one single canyon loop in limbo forever.
Hey, it's fine. At least there's no one out there who cares about him.
At least there's no one out there who really cares about him a lot and won't show up at all later.
Yeah, don't worry.
Isn't voiced by Tony Todd.
Right, exactly. Skyquake's never going to show up again. Don't worry about it.
Skyquake will never be relevant. He picks up Starscream's arm and like tries to jam it onto his stump and then just throws it away. He's like, "This isn't my arm." Well, big F's to Skyquake. Yet again taking a massive L.
Yeah.
So those are the episodes. Very good episodes this week. Just some real all-timers.
The dialogue was just excellent.
Yeah. So glad to have Megatron back. Love that guy. And his weird shark teeth.
And it's time to head into the Starscream cringe compilation. So.
Boy howdy. Alright, so we
Christ.
got some Questorinos here in the Discord. Aurora Bodywork asks, who would you like to bring back to life as a horrid monstrosity? Who would you Frankenstein back to life?
I'm trying to think about what would be funniest.
Yeah.
I think Shakespeare.
Oh. Finish those plays, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Shakespeare.
I mean, the classic answer is dig up Ronald Reagan and shoot him again.
Yeah, I know, but it's not... He already is a horrid monstrosity, you know?
That's true. He was
There's
already
no-
sort of melting by the end.
Yeah, there's no transformation there, you know?
Yeah, he would look pretty much the same.
Cass Arachnid asks, how would you like to be brought back as a horrid monstrosity? I wouldn't. Cremate me. Don't do that
Yeah,
shit.
I don't want to be a zombie minion. Or if I would be, just turn me into like a cool like devil guy or something. Devil man this shit, you know? That would be fine. But if it's like this style, if it's like zombie style, no. Don't bring me there.
Don't do it.
Or my Starscream asks, what are your thoughts about Limbo, both the video game and the chapter in Dante's Inferno? Well, first of all, there's a reason that not many passages are remembered from the Divine Comedy other than the sections in Hell. That's because the other two just aren't as interesting. I guess his vision of heaven is kind of interesting.
I mean,
but Limbo is boring.
I've never actually read the Divine Comedy, so
it's way funnier to read about Dante putting the guys he hates in hell. I do know the premise of it, obviously. Yeah. And like he puts guys he knows in Limbo, but it's not as funny.
So yeah, I can't speak to that Limbo, but Limbo the video game is an excellent game.
Yeah, I've never played Limbo.
Oh shit! Really?
I know it's very good. It's like one of the big pillars of the indie game community.
You should play Limbo. It's only like 2 to 3 hours long.
No, I'm sure it's like 99 cents on Steam right now.
Yeah, it's like nothing, and also
it costs negative money on Steam right now.
Inside is also very good, but Limbo is an excellent game, but not one you should do when you're in any negative headspace whatsoever.
Yeah, it seems like it might be a little twisted.
It's a pretty grim fucking game.
So, Slipstream Sam asks, do we know how Cybertronians are named? Because some of them have very specific Earth-based vehicle puns, and I have no idea how that works.
You're actually just hearing the translation of their Cybertronian.
Yeah,
they're like the Asgardians. They speak the Allspeak.
Exactly. The real answer, obviously, is that they're named by a board of guys at Hasbro, who's like, this would be a fun thing to name a toy, print it.
Excellent stuff.
Name this motherfucker. I mean, it's very funny when, like, very serious stories, like More Than Meets the Eye, have to contend with having guys around named shit like Blue Streak. I don't know why I pulled Blue Streak. He's not even the weirdest name. Tailgate. You got a guy named Tailgate on the Lost Light.
Tailgate makes sense. I mean, that's a part of a car.
Yeah, that is a part of a car.
I mean, if you're going that way, Cyclonus. What the fuck is a Cyclonus?
Yeah, I don't know. Star Saber. So, I just remember the Star Saber is in this show, too. Not a guy, though. Just a sword. I also don't like how it looks very much, but we'll get there. Or Bodywork asks, what would your 80s villain scheme and theme be? I like that. Scheme and theme. Rhymes. It's got good mouthfeel. Oh boy, I'm thinking back to like classic 80s villain plots.
I don't know. Honestly, if I was going to be a villain, I'd probably be a mean girl in a teen romance. I'd be like the villain of 16 Candles.
Right. What would I do as like a 80s goofy villain?
Or I feel like, you know what I would like to be? Well, it was the 90s, I know this, don't at me. But like The Craft.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, all I can think about right now is that episode of She-Ra where Skeletor tricks Hordak into eating a pie that makes him disappear. Because it's one of the funniest 30 minutes of television I've ever fucking watched. Hordak turns into a fucking plane at one point. Did you know that? He turns into a rocket. And I don't know why. The plot of that is that they have to find someone who loves Hordak to stop him from disappearing. So they find some guy named Jeremy who lives in a cave and he's like a wizard.
I would love to be like a member of the... Oh, that was the 70s, not the 80s. I'm really bad at my timing on this. But I was gonna say that I would love to be a member of Q from Star Trek.
I feel like I would end up as some kind of Scooby-Doo villain running a local scam.
I know, like really, I'm saying all these things, but I think I'd probably end up something like from Wacky Races. I'd be like a Dick Dastardly.
Oh, shit. Always hoisted by your own petard right at the end.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that does us for questions this week.
I'd be the jonker.
You'd be the fucking jonker. We have been Prime Cuts. You can find us on Twitter at PrimeCutsPod, where you can also join our Discord and the link in our bio. I am Nero. You can follow me on Twitter at DragonSmoocher. You can follow my various other shows in various other places. like Radio Free Heidelin, the comprehensive Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast I do with my friend Jane, we are going to record our episode on the first set of dungeons this week. We're chugging our way through A Realm Reborn. You can also check out our previous show, Podcast of Power. Speaking of She-Ra, that one is about the good She-Ra, the one from 2018 on Netflix. That's a good show. It's a good podcast. I'm also on Disney Minus, at Disney Minus Pod, trawling through the depths of Disney Plus. I am not on the latest episode that's releasing on Hercules. However, we are covering Cars next because we need to figure out what the fuck is going on with that world. There's so many questions.
Okay. The first one I hear is not bad.
It is a perfectly serviceable film.
That's what I hear, yeah.
Which for Pixar was pretty bad at the time.
Yes, I mean, yes.
That was before Pixar started putting out some of the real stinkers they put out in the past few years.
Yeah, damn, what happened, Disney? Why do I even ask?
Disney happened.
why do I even ask? Stupid question. Moving on.
And that's it for me. That's all my shows.
Oh, okay. I'm Audrey. You can find me on Tumblr and Twitter at Optimum on Prime. That's my funny robot internet joke. You can also listen to the other podcast I do called Pot of Greed, which you can find on Twitter at Pot of Greed Cast. It's about Yu-Gi-Oh! We have like 2 episodes left of season 3 of GX, and then we're taking a little breaky, and then we're heading straight into the sub-zone. Sorry. With
everything will be normal.
Everything is already so normal, so, yeah, of course it will be. You can find both this show and that show on Noisepace, which you can find at noisepace.xyz. And you listen to a lot of other good podcasts on there, including, again, if you're interested in this, you'll probably be interested in Wild Cool Robot. There's House of Snacks, there's the Sonic Shuffle, there's Commercial Radio, Slappers Only, bunch of good stuff. Check it out, and thank you for listening to us. So until next time, I'm going to hunt down my Kismesis, which is a term I didn't use out of great restraint during this episode, but now you're hearing it. So I'm going to hunt down my Kismesis and drag him by the head back into my ship and transform and roll out.
I am going to wander the same hallway forever and ever. A never-ending loop of banality.
So you're playing PT?
Yep.
Great.
And I'm very scared, but I will do my best to transform and roll out.
It's not even that scary. Peach.
It's Peach.